That's my little chalk clapper.
Action.
Yes.
So it's on now.
We won't run a legit operation here. Where I'm just like,
I see that.
yeah, welcome to my trashed studio. I just clap my hands in front of cameras.
No, see, that's where you like. There's somebody in the corner. They're standing there now. They're there the whole time. They can't move.
Yeah.
They're stuck.
Yep. Nobody moved.
That was their one job.
Yeah. Yeah, if only things were that simple.
I know.
I do have a task for you, and you're going to look at this camera.
Sure.
And you're going to say, hey, everybody, and then your first and last name. And this is Hey Bay City.
Okay. Can we change it for one day? Can we do Hey Essexville, or is it? Well, we can change it later, maybe.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
I saw a presentation, not to cut you.
Yeah, I like that.
When this was like announced at a State of the Community address,
yeah,
I thought it was awesome that it was sold in a sense. It was like, hey, Pinconning, hey, Auburn, hey, Essexville. I saw Essexville on the list.
Yes.
And I was elated. I was in the audience watching. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, let's do it.
I can do the hey, and then we can maybe talk. We'll change it for one episode. We'll make it Hey Essexville. I don't mind.
No,
I don't want to
hijack. I like that.
I don't
want
to hijack your whole thing, man. Because
we can hijack it. No, I like this. So hey everybody, my name is Craig Goulet, and this is Hey Essexville.
Okay.
I like that.
All right.
I like that. We'll go with it.
Sure.
Looking right at that camera, please, sir.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Craig Goulet, and this is Hey Essexville.
Woo! I like that.
Yeah.
Hey Essexville.
Yes.
Craig Goulet,
yeah.
We've never met before.
We haven't. I've seen you, but we haven't formally met.
We had a very friendly conversation about shaving heads and things like that. It's always nice to meet a kindred spirit.
You have to you have to cover all those bases when you meet somebody on a rainy day, right? And they have the same hairstyle. So I can't come up with a explicit hey, yo, I spent hours making this look this good. I did.
When did you start shaving your head?
Probably when I was early 20s.
Yeah, I was I think 17 or 18. That's when I actually started losing my hair.
Yeah.
And man, high school.
But I wouldn't go back. No, in high school I'd be raw. I mean, but I wouldn't go back now. I think
I wouldn't either.
No, it's kind of a defining feature.
Yeah, and once you go, I haven't been to the barber since high school. And then, so it's a cost-saving measure.
Look at the money we're saving.
Yes, you're more aerodynamic.
Very.
I'm really intrigued to get to know a little bit of your story because I do a lot of work in a lot of different communities, and it was becoming a city manager. It's always interesting to kind of chart the path to becoming that really critical role. So maybe take me back to the beginning, Craig. Where'd you grow up?
Life is funny. I will say, life is a hilarious place because you don't know what doors will open, and maybe a point, you come at a point in your life and it's a defining moment and you're disappointed maybe with the direction that something appeared to be going at the time, right? But then another door opens and another door opens, and all of a sudden you're in a different position than you ever thought that you would ever be in. And so it's funny because whenever I introduce myself to somebody, I say I work for the City of Essexville. I don't give my title. I don't know why I'm like that. I just think it's very I don't want somebody to change their perspective. I just want them to talk with me.
You hear the position city manager.
Yeah, it's all the concepts and the things, the ideas that go along with that is, you're the decision maker.
Yeah.
No.
There's some baggage. There could be some baggage there.
That's not how it all works. Yeah. But so going back in time, goodness gracious. So I grew up in Essexville. I graduated from Essexville Garber in 1998. Moved away shortly for a 2-year stint. I went down to work for a company down in Lansing area. And September 11th happened. I was in the industrial automotive division at the time. Totally changed that environment, that industry. It really slowed down. If you go back in time, the cars were just sitting there and plants were scaling back. And I thought, this would be a really good time to go back to school. So I moved back home. moved back in with the parents, which is always a good feeling. You're independent, and then you go, hey, mom and dad.
I lasted about a year.
Yeah, so here I am, right?
No offense, mom and dad, I love you.
But I'm back. The cooking's just too good. No, I don't know. So I enrolled at SVSU, and I got my degree, my bachelor's degree in mathematics. And
in mathematics?
In mathematics, yeah.
Wild.
Which was wild, because if you knew me, like, that was not my forte in school. I played sports. I had interest in other things. But I will say this, it was challenging. It didn't come, I had to work for it. And I think your level of appreciation for those things, I think that was a life lesson, to be honest with you, because it was difficult, and I appreciated it at a different level than if this came easy and, well, this is like tying shoes, right?
So if that's not your forte, what was the compulsion to going back and saying, I want to go get my degree in math?
Great question. I was originally looking at actuarial science. So basically, those are the individuals that assess risk for insurance companies. So they're the ones that determine the rate that you're paying.
Okay.
I would have had to have moved. I would have been down in the southern part of the state at the least. And to be perfectly honest, met a girl that I knew in high school, and things got serious, and we're married. I know, so it changed the course of what you were doing, and I got into I started working for an automotive aftermarket warehouse here in the city, and I spent 10 years there. Started off as part-time, went full-time, became a supervisor, warehouse manager, and that's where after my 10 years, that was where I left. I was given an opportunity to work for Bay County. So, and that was, fast forwarding some time, that was 2017.
Okay.
So, started off in their finance department, spent a year there, and then a job came up, administrative services director, and I threw my name in the hat and was selected to be able to do that job. And I spent the last 5 years for Bay County doing that, which was back to when I spent my time at the warehouse where I enjoyed working the management style. I loved working with people. I learned a lot there. I learned what to do, what not to do, and learned some valuable lessons. So when I got back to Bay County and able to manage different departments and people, I really enjoyed it. And then at the time, the city manager retired from Essexville, and threw my name in the hat there, and went through the whole interview process, which is absolutely terrifying.
I can imagine.
So there's a panel, there's a panel of 7 council members, the city attorney, the city clerk, and everybody's staring at you, right, and listening to your every word. There's always things that, any interview process, including this one, I'm sure I'll watch back and think, why'd you bring that up? I did enjoy it. And being able to, I think, work in the community that I'm growing up in, or that I grew up in, that my kids are growing up in, I think it affects a little bit, differently. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be working for the city of Essexville.
Yeah, what was the initial attraction to this the city manager role? Was it simply being able to influence the community that your family's in? Was it kind of the management administration side that you love, or? I
think everything, to be honest with you. So, relatively speaking, Essexville it's not the metropolis, in Bay County. It's not the huge draw, but the community is a very proud community.
That's true.
Very proud. You're not from anywhere else. You're from Essexville. And my grandpa grew up there. My mom grew up there. Both my mom and my grandpa graduated from Garber as well. My grandpa I found a cool photo when I was walking around the police department, and it's black and white. And I saw my grandpa on there. It was from the 1950s. He was on their fire department. And there's just this sense of tie, and I can't really, it goes a little, it's further than being able to, if you're influencing, improve, whatever you want to talk about, there's just a little different element to that when you go back, and you have that connection, and you're able to, hopefully, the goal is to make changes along the way that benefit the community as a whole. So I think, obviously being able to work there, it's a lot more direct than, even what it was at Bay County. I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Bay County. They taught me a lot, and I've got nothing but positive things to say about that form of government. Just being a little bit closer to home, I think, is just a little bit more meaningful.
Yeah, there's so much benefit to kind of niching down and having a focus, because like you said, you get to do things and you get to see their immediate results, especially when it is your community, the community that you're living in. You can do something and you're connected to it in a little bit different way, because there's a direct effect on you and your neighbors and the teachers that teach your kids and all of these people that you're connected to more than just in an administrative capacity.
Absolutely. I live there too, right? So the same things we're proposing, affect myself as well and my family. And so, like I said, it's just, like I said, I'm going to repeat myself, just thrilled to be there.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal place to work.
Well, I'm thrilled for you too, man. When you think about being a city manager, how do you approach something like that? I am a person who the thought of managing a city is absolutely terrifying, and I'm working in a community, knowing how many different people you're accountable to and how complicated the machine can be. So, going into this, what has been your approach to being a city manager?
Sure. So that's a great question. I hope I answer it thoroughly.
I'm sure you will, with that math degree.
I think what's for the City of Essexville, the people that work there do a tremendous job, from the Department of Public Works, public safety aspect, firefighters, the administrative staff in the office. I could go through, and come up with some wonky idea and totally put a wrench in the cog, right, and just mess the whole machine up. I think when you come into something like that, you don't. My recommendation wouldn't necessarily be to just immediately make changes. You have to understand what's going on, right, and that's in every aspect of that job. So, what does the city clerk do? What does the city treasurer do? What does the deputy clerk do? Let's go look at the police side. How are you with staffing? How's the fire side? How are they doing with staffing? Those types of things, there's a lot to learn, and it's okay to admit that you don't know everything, because you're not going to. And admitting that to some can be maybe a little challenging. I did not know everything. I admitted that I didn't know everything, but there's really good people there, and so you ask a lot of questions. You learn why things are done the way they are, and go from there. So it was explained to me years ago, which was a nice analogy. Somebody said government is like a train. It's not like stopping a car and then changing direction. It's literally like stopping a train. And so don't wear out your wheels from trying to make changes too quickly and then becoming frustrated that it wasn't immediately felt. So I'm a University of Michigan guy. Big Jim Harbaugh fan. And years ago, he was given an interview, and he said, he was asked the question how he thought the year was going to go for the team. And he said, we're going to be better today than we were yesterday, and we'll be better tomorrow than we are today. And to be perfectly honest, that's kind of how I approach anything that I'm involved with. Are we better today than we were yesterday? And are there things in place to, be better tomorrow than we are today? And I can definitively tell you that, yes, we are. And things will get even better tomorrow and the next day and the next day. You just always look at continually trying to make positive changes that will impact the community. And then when you look back over a period of time, you think, wow, we were able to accomplish this. We did this. We did this. We did this. It's a good feeling. It's a very, very good feeling.
What a great approach. I mean, especially not coming from another city, but even if you were a city manager in another city, that just means that you know that city. It doesn't mean that you can come into another city and I know how this rolls. I mean, you got to go in and you got to learn the culture, and you got to know who's doing what and what has been done in the past, because you're going to come out with this idea that you think is great, and somebody is, we tried that 10 years ago and it didn't work, or 5 years ago, or last year and it didn't work, or this is the person you have to talk to. And it just makes life easier and better for everybody if you come in with a little bit of humility and say, hey, Fill me in.
Pretty much. I mean, that's what, right? No, and you're right. Every company, city, everything has their own culture, and you have to remember that when you go into something new. And, learning that job and learning that role, I mean, I'll be learning, well, I'm still going through everything for the first time, right? I haven't even been there a full year. I'll be there a year in September. So I'm just shy of a year, but I've just went through everything for the first time, from budget to everything else that I mentioned previously. And that's only doing some things one time.
Yeah, right.
You're certainly not as set as well as you will be in the future, right? I think for the first two years, I would quantify that and say that that's learning the job. From there on, then you understand your role, you understand the processes and those types of things. So.
Yeah, it's some. We were talking about Justin Ralston. Before the interview, and a similar approach. Justin comes in from DC and immediately says, "Tell me what you guys want. Tell me what you know. Tell me what has been missed in the past. Tell me what you've loved in the past. So, like, what kind of school district do you want to have? Like, really reaching into the community." And I think that's such a brilliant move that Justin did in not coming into a new community and saying, well, I'm going to teach you guys how this is going to go. Like, really saying, well, how do you want it to go?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's bold.
Yeah, it's bold, but I will give Justin gets a lot of credit. I get to work with him, and to say he's a brilliant person is not an understatement. The man is very smart at what he does, and how he went about doing what he's doing so far. He only started like a month before me, so we kind of joked with each other.
Really?
He started like in August,
time,
and I was in September. So, but absolutely enjoy working with him. I've got a meeting over there later this afternoon, for instance, and it's anything that I can do to help, and vice versa. It's I would say that the school's relationship with the city is very good. They've helped us out on different occasions. We had a holiday tree lighting ceremony for the first time last December. Their choir was there. Their band was there. The parents were there. They were highly involved, and it was a very, very good start, I think, to a new city tradition, if you will. But to have the high school and their students involved in that was meaningful, and we've reciprocated, right? One of our fire trucks was there with the band camp last week, and when it was, really hot, and they're practicing, and they got a little wet, from the from the fire truck. It was, and anything we can do to help, and I know the feeling is mutual. I don't see that negatively impacting the community at all. I only see that strengthening that relationship. And on our Facebook page, we'll share things that the softball team does, or the robotics team. We just really we're proud of the accomplishments that the school's been able to do, and working with Justin is a treat.
Yeah, Essexville is so intriguing to me because here is a community that doesn't have a traditional downtown center where you can't go to necessarily downtown Essexville and walk around. But there, in a lot of communities that are set up like that, you have kind of a fractionalized community because there isn't a central place where you see people and you eat at the restaurants and run into people. But there's such an intense pride in Essexville, and I've always thought about, like, if it doesn't come from a central hub, where does it come from? And so far, my guess is that there's such a pride in the school system. Like there are people that are just so proud of being from a product of that school system that seems to be the intense roots that are there.
Wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah. I'm very proud that I graduated from Garber.
Yeah.
I think that they've prepared me very well for post school, if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah.
Others go off into trades, others go out, continue to go off. Some just go off to work. But I think the things that I learned, the education that I was able to obtain through Essexville Hampton was very good, and set me up to be able to do the things that I'm doing. I'm still going to school. It's funny. I'm after this semester, I'll be 3 classes away from my master's.
Oh, very cool.
44 years old, father of 3. not the easiest challenge to throw out there. And then, hell, by the way, new job, and you're still
managing
going to
a
school.
city.
But I go back to attributing a lot of that to what I was able to learn and the teachers that I had at Garber and Kramer and so on. I mean, my favorite teacher one of my favorite teachers was my 5th grade teacher. I still remember. She was phenomenal, just a phenomenal teacher. And certain individuals that have had such a profound impact on you, you don't forget. So all the credit and appreciation goes to them.
If I took a time machine back to Craig at Kramer and said, "Hey, Craig, one day you're going to be running this place," what would little mini Craig say?
No way. I was going to be in the NBA. I mean, that was right. That was the goal. You're a 7th grader, and you're playing all the time. I mean, hey, I'm going to
play basketball.
Yeah, I'm going to play basketball forever, right? No, even that same question. Goodness gracious, 2 years ago, I would have even said that's probably not going to happen. The thing, and especially when I was working at the warehouse when I started, there is no way that I would have been able to fathom a path that would have allowed me to work in the same city that I grew up in. I wouldn't have been able to tell you what that path was, to be honest with you. Life is funny.
So life is funny. I mean, you just in your brain, you think that everything's a linear path. Like I want to do this, and then next year I will be doing that, and then next year I will be doing the same thing, but at a higher level. And when really, like you said, you start off with this idea, and then suddenly you're a city manager. I'm like, ta-da!
Yeah. So I don't know if I had a parent. One of my parents, my mom, would always tell me things happen for a reason. When I was younger, Craig, it used to drive me crazy because it's like, I want this though.
Yeah.
Like this is what I was meant to do. Yeah. This thing right here. And then when it doesn't happen, you're heartbroken. Right. And then all of a sudden another door opens up, and this is neat. And another door opens, and it wouldn't have been open otherwise if you would have gone that original path, for instance. And so I think now that I'm finally a little bit older, I can say she was absolutely right.
You're right, Mom.
You're right, Mom. I will. You're right. Things do happen for a reason. Thank you for that advice. Yes, that I will also pass on to my kids, and will drive them crazy till they're 44 years old.
And they're like, "Oh, yes,
there
Mom was right.
This
is what that means."
Yep. So, yeah.
From put on your city manager glasses for a second. What kinds of things are you guys working on over in Essexville? Goals that you're working on?
Sure.
Kind of critical things that you've got in the works.
Yeah, I think I'd separate them by into different silos, if you will. You've got your things that you can do short term that that are, I guess, more immediately, obviously visual. You've got your kind of midterm kind of things, and then your long term. So. Short term, we've done a couple community events, or we're planning our second major community event in this first year. We used to do a Kids Fest. That's coming up in September. Forgive me, I don't remember the exact date, but it's coming up in September. It's after school starts. That takes place at City Hall, and it is a very well-attended community event. Since COVID really impacted a lot of people and this mental health. There's a sense of they want to do things as a community. And that was what kind of led to the tree lighting ceremony in December. I was only there, since September. So to plan this thing, I learned a lot. It's not an overnight process to say, hey, let's do a tree lighting ceremony. There's a lot of legwork that goes into it. So learned a lot, but it was very well attended because folks came out. And I'm looking forward to this year. I'm looking forward to Kids Fest. So immediately we want to do some things to get the community together, get them out. We've done goodness gracious, we've hired a code enforcement officer. Not nearly as exciting to talk about, but absolutely necessary. There are other things that I can't. I'm not quite there yet. If this meeting was next week, there's one other thing at the top of my mind that I could say is going to happen. But some of the day-to-day things, I would say we instituted some things internally that I felt more fair to the residents. Reminders for water bills, for instance. Little thing, for some reason that was removed. So sometimes people just either misplaced it or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But I absolutely felt that was good to put that back into place. Middle term kind of things that I think, you're looking at, staffing. We've done tremendously with hiring public safety officers. That was notably, I would say, and that is a challenge that every municipality across the country is trying to fix. And that is a challenging aspect of the job. I am very proud to say that normal full staff, we have 8 officers for the city of Essexville. We're at 7. So I'm very proud to say we're at that number. It wasn't at that number when I first hired in. But we have made really good strides with that.
Very cool.
I would say more quickly than I had expected, to be honest with you, because like I said, everybody's, trying to get and beef up their department to a regular staffing level. It's a difficult job, and it is what it is. It is what it is where we're at right now. Long term, more economic development. When I grew up, I would ride my bike down the street. I would go to a local shop there, buy baseball cards, go to Kinney Dairy, LeBrun's Pharmacy. I remember Essexville Lumber being on the north side of Woodside there. I think, working with Bay Future, it's not an overnight thing, but it is absolutely a good strategic process that they have in place. So working with Trevor Keys and the team over there, we've got a follow-up meeting here shortly to see what another step is for us to be able to go out and recruit businesses to bulk up our downtown area.
Very cool.
Very good feedback. Somebody, a developer, drove through and said, "Boy, this feels like a Hallmark community. Everybody's walking, everybody's waving at you. You know what I mean? It's just, and there are absolutely people that want to be part of that, and that's what we're going to try to go out and get. So, our future, we have a good downtown. That's what we would like to do, but it's not overnight. But we'll get there.
Yeah, I definitely think you will get there. I mean, there's so much pride in the community. Some really critical people coming into leadership roles that are saying, "Hey, community, let's get you engaged. Let's hear what you want. Let's work together to make this thing happen." And that's beautiful to see. I mean, not only does Essexville and the people of Essexville benefit from that, but we're so close to Bay City, so close to other communities that when you guys win, everybody wins.
Absolutely.
And we're that's what we want to be. We want to be a community full of winners.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's a Bay County, it's a Bay County thing. It's
right.
Being so close proximity to Hampton, what affects Hampton absolutely affects Essexville. Same thing with Bay City and surrounding areas. Bangor's literally just across the river. So, but being able to work with, certain township supervisors and whatnot has been a side effect I didn't think about initially, to be honest with you. I didn't think of the, correlation so much, but it's, you're absolutely tied to those folks and vice versa. So, being able to try to, impact them as well, I think goes a long way. So it's a good group of people. Yeah, great group of people. Yeah.
So far in the 10 months that you've been city manager, what's been the greatest reward? What do you love the most? What's been the most pleasant surprise?
Boy, oh boy, that's a really good question. I don't know if I can pinpoint one thing. I would say that I think being able to look out for the safety, in the sense of the police department. I'm very proud of the strides being able to get staffing to the level it's at right now. And I think being able to, retain, the officers that we had. There's a very experienced staff over there. And from the captain, lieutenant, sergeant, and our school resource officer, like I said, there's a lot of pride in that department, rightfully so. The community is extremely supportive of that department. It's a bad joke. I said to very close proximity. Now it's going to be shared with everybody. But if I wanted the shortest tenure as a city manager, I would propose to contract that out because I would be waltzed out of there faster than you could think. Like, well, there he went.
Yeah.
The community's always been supportive of that department.
Sure.
To the point, literally, where I received phone calls. Hey, I haven't seen them in a couple days. Is everything okay? They want to see that vehicle. They want to see that officer. They want to wave at them. They want that interaction. Very supportive of that department. I would say that's probably one of the top. The community events, I would say, is right there, if not tied. I think that tree lighting ceremony, I think I'll look back down the road at maybe it possibly being like a defining moment for the city, because I think it's setting a tone, an expectation. The public turned out. This is what we want, right? We want to come down here. We want to see Santa coming down the street on a fire truck. We want, involvement. And the businesses as well. The support that they gave, the donations, the everything. It was phenomenal to be a part of. In the school district. I think that, like I said, I think that will be a defining moment down the road. So if we do a follow-up interview at some point,
we will.
I think it would be absolutely awesome to reflect on that and talk about that a little bit more, differently at a different time.
Yeah, so many more pivotal moments on the way. It sounds like over in Essexville.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
We're not going to stop. There's an absolute desire for the community. The council's very supportive. Mayor's very supportive. It's like I said, really good group of people.
Very cool. Very cool. If folks want to get in contact with you, if they want to say, hey, Craig, I listened to your podcast and it was just so great, and shower you with all sorts of compliments and things like that, or maybe they have questions about the community, how would they go about reaching you?
They can most of the time, unless I'm at a meeting, I'm at City Hall a lot.
Okay.
They can call City Hall there. They can 893-2441. They can email me at cmanager@essexville.org or stop in. To be honest with you, they like I said, most of the time I'm there. I'm very available. It's not a large office. I'm not hard to find. Just look for the guy wearing a Block M somewhere.
The bald Michigan guy.
Michigan guy. That must be him. I mean, I don't see anybody else in here that looks like that, so it's got to be him.
Yeah. Well, Craig, I want to wish you the best of luck and most blessings and all the success in leading the city of Essexville. Just such a great asset to Bay County as a whole, and like you doing wonderful work, and Justin and everybody else just crushing it over in Essexville. So I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, I appreciate the invite, and congratulations to you too. You do a terrific job.
I've
watched, like I told you before the show, I've watched some interviews, and I'm very impressed with the quality, not only of the content of the interview, but your production.
Thank you.
You're doing a very good job, so I'm honored to even be here. Thank you.
And cut.